All right, I got to stop here. I'll make one pass on each end, and then just continually raise the bit until I get the depth, all the way through. I'll check my fit on the rod, on the threaded rod. If it's perfect, I'm going to leave it alone. If it needs to be widened a little bit, then I'll just slightly jog my fence over and make one more pass. Alright, so after cutting the pieces to length, all this came out of that one board you saw earlier. It's important now to keep them in the proper orientation because we're going to drill matching holes here. So if that's the way that one's going to go, and this is going to go this way, then I want to put an X on these three pieces. Especially, well, I guess these two. This one's not that important. That's just a spacer block. But I'll put an X on these two sides and drill my holes. All right, I got my drill press set up here to make these cuts, and I noticed that when I push them up against the fence, you can just feel that. Got a little bit of offset. Now, probably not going on this deal. It's probably not going to affect it too much if I just drilled them this way. But the reasons that is happening is because this is an old extrusion. It doesn't have the machined face on it, so it's not perfectly flat. It's got a 2-degree taper here at the slots, so it's no big deal. You just have to bridge that taper with something. You could use a piece of wood. I'm just happen to have these parallels I'm using. So 1/8 inch parallel, stick that in there, and now we bridge that gap. This is perfectly flush. So I've got my setup to drill a 1/2 inch in from each side, and then my center line for my extrusion on the bottom. When I get done, I'm going to drill the top holes as well. Just finished cutting all these pieces for the top of the extrusion, the truck I'm going to call it, and this is going to connect. This end would connect to the threaded rod with the nut and bolt. But as I put it together and I set it up on the extrusion, this part is perfect. It lines up perfect. This is a little high. Compared to some of the stops that I've made, so it sits a little proud of this surface, and I'm starting to rethink maybe what I should do there, because I can just do this. I can just butt that up like that and basically call it good and do the connection system that I'm thinking of doing, which is just burying a rare earth magnet in here and then drilling and putting a flathead screw in there, and then that would just hold it that way. And that would work with any size stop that I have. The other thing is that I like this idea because it gives me the opportunity to use this as a clamping surface. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 this way, and 3 I'm just going to leave alone. All right, I just finished this up last night, and I'm so jacked up about it I can't wait to show it to you. But first of all, the micro adjuster, I don't have my mag switches yet. I could use the ones that I already own, but I want to wait for that 40mm bit that is also coming with them. But you can see here how well this is working. I mean, that's just beautiful. Nice and smooth. And the one thing I found out here is that these top two holes are just sufficient enough to hold this thing together. I was using the bottom two because I thought it'd be better to be near the center line of this threaded rod, but it doesn't really matter. And but I did design it so that I could get my screwdriver or my ball driver in here without any interference from the threaded rod this time, where before I had them too tight. So that worked out really nice. But these up here, they're as easy as all get out to get through. So I'm just using these two, and works great. And then if you can imagine that this was now my sliding table fence, or my the fence on my drill press table, this is what I came up with here. So I don't have extra thumb wheel drivers for this, but or thumb wheel nuts for this, but I'm just going to move it this way. But you'll see what happens when I get close to that stop. It just locks on because I have a rare earth magnet embedded here, and then it just is contacting the tip of a screw that's in this. It's just a number 8 wood screw, 3/4 of an inch long. So once I hook on there, now I can dial in my location, right? Bring it back, and now I say, okay, that's where I want it. Now I lock it down, and if I want this out of the way, I just have to pull it back. It comes away very easily. Or if I wanted to just disconnect it and get it out of the way, I could do that as well. You know, if I wanted to set up another stop on the other side to get that precisely located, I could remove this setup, move it to the other side, and use it that way. So this, I think, is just going to be cool. You see how it just locks right on. Move it, lock it, pull it away. So like I said, if I wanted to lock it there, pull this away. One thing I do need to do too is I need to get a flathead bolt through here so I can lock this in place if I wanted to as well. And the other thing that would do is if you just kind of snug it up ever so lightly, it'll keep it from flopping around as well. So there you go. It's going to be a great setup, and I'm looking forward to it. To using it and possibly getting the parts needed supplied out to you guys who may want to do this too. Thanks for watching.